either online or via recorded webinar. We thank you for being here. And so we're going to get started here in just a second and be going through this terrific training. Hopefully everybody can hear me out there. I do have a couple proxies here with me to let me know that the microphone feature is working. So we will get started here in just a moment. All right, so branding my real estate business for real estate professionals. And you'll see on the screen here that there are a few of our core values: action achieves purpose, learning empowers greatness, confidence catapults success, momentum determines results, you must always compete to win, caring should be in everything that we do, and it is truly better to give than to receive. So these are the tenets that we work by here at FLR, and we encourage you to do the same. How can branding my business influence my level of success? So today's purpose and objectives, we're going to review what branding is and its value to your real estate business. We're going to review how branding defines you and your business, and what are the key requirements in considering your brand and business focus. How to define your business strategy throughout branding, and what elements need to be considered to determine, create, and build your brand. Branding my real estate business. How would you define branding for a business? So what are some of the things you think of when you think about a real estate branding? So maybe some familiarity with the product itself, or with the name, the logos. Yeah, there's definitely some things that kind of come to mind when you think about real estate branding for your business. Quite simply, brand defines what your business stands for, the promise it makes, and the personality that you convey. So much of what you put out there in your branding is going to sort of show what kind of an individual you are. Has anyone ever noticed, especially in the real estate advertising and branding, that it tends to mirror what that person's interests are? And let me give you an example. If you're an individual that likes the water, or lives on the water, or fishes, okay, you're probably going to have something like that in some part of your advertising. And the reason that you're doing that is because you're connecting with people that potentially share the same interest as you do. So what's the full definition of branding for business? The brand lives and breathes through the day-to-day interaction that the business has with its clients and with the market. So each day that your brand is out there in the marketplace, it's interacting with your customers and with your potential customers to tell a story of who you are and what you do. A brand, however, is more than your logo. It's more than your name or just your slogan. It's the entire experience that your prospects and customers have with you and your business. So for our industry in real estate, that would be the experience that one might expect to get from us when they buy or sell a home. And let's just talk briefly about some of the differences in the way maybe that we serve our customers, right, versus maybe some of our competition. So what are some things that we do differently? Does anybody here in the classroom have anything they do differently maybe than their competition as far as servicing their customer? What are some of the things that you do that helps you stand out?
Well, Olivia's helping me try to narrow down some investment properties for that friend from DC, but because he's so busy, he's the general counsel for the past 20 years for the National Apartment Association. Mm-hmm. There were so many of us, so we sat down and handpicked the ones that he wanted through the criteria that he did. And so now it's more streamlined and he's happier. That's
actually a great example. So personalized service. So when you're working with a potential customer or an active client, giving them personal service, looking at what their specific needs are something that you and your brand do differently than your competition. Your competition might just go out, show them some properties, put them in an MLS drip, and then call that a day, right? But you are actually taking the time as a specialist to specifically find out what the needs of that client are, and also what their time constraints are, what their geographical constraints are. These are all things that you're going to do that's going to make you and your brand more attractive to a potential client. So that's a very good answer. So you're catering to the need of the client, and that is what we should always be doing. While branding includes logos, color palettes, and slogans, Those are only creative elements that convey your brand through the marketing element. And so I think if we look at a logo, one thing that I always find fascinating is we can quickly determine what that business does based on the repetition. I'll give you an example. Who has kids? Who drives down the road? Who knows what the golden arches are? So how can a 2-year-old go French fry and point at the golden arches? Because they have done such a terrific job of branding that logo. And is that logo anything special? It's a big M. I mean, right? So people spend millions of dollars brainstorming on how to get the perfect logo, and yet one of the most worldwide well-known logos is an M. But it's what they do with that that's so powerful. Did you know that the average person sees 2 to 3 of those commercials every single day? And just as soon as you think that there can't be another burger joint on the corner, you hear it again, ba-da-da-da-da, on your TV, on your radio. They're relentless in their advertising of their brand because they want to be a world global domination brand. And so when you're putting yourself out there, it's got to be something that you're committed to. So you really need to embrace your brand and begin to share it in a big way. What purpose or value does branding serve? Connect with prospective customers through brand marketing and from past customer experiences. This defines a level of expectation for providing your services which successfully captures or appeals to the desires of the customer. So let's ask ourselves the most basic question. What do we do? What is it that we do? What service do we provide? I'll help you guys with the tough ones. We sell houses. But we do more than that, don't we? What else do we do?
Information.
We provide information. We provide service. Do we alleviate stress?
Yeah, facilitate
Sure.
means
We facilitate, we educate, right? We guide, we coach, and sometimes we counsel too in situations.
We execute legal documents.
We execute documents. We fill out contracts. So there's a lot of moving parts to what we do. And so as we're branding ourselves, wouldn't it make sense to let the public know what service we provide? So our branding should reflect that. Let's talk, what would an example of that be? So I'm going to use Missy as an example. If Missy's branding herself moved to the beautiful state of Florida, she's done something she's told the world that she is in real estate because she says move to Florida. She also can talk specifically about what area in Florida she wants to represent. So she's communicating a message through her advertising, through her branding of what it is that she does. And I will give you a tip. The more specific you are in what you do and the market that you pursue, the better results you will have. There's this misnomer that my advertising should be appealing to all people. I do agree that it should be attractive to all people. Yes. However, most of us work best with a specific focus, a specific market, and we have shared interests with certain people and with certain clients. So we best represent those that we know the best. So I do encourage you to really soul search a little bit about your brand, because in real estate, here's a really cool thing. Your brand is really you. I want you to think about that. I mean, even if you have a team helping you, you're still the brand, right? Even if you have a great brokerage supporting you, you're still the brand. So keep that in mind as you're out there branding yourself to your clients and to your customers. What can branding mean for your business, right? Do you know that probably 75% of real estate professionals go through their entire career and never even think about branding? They just say, well, I know I got to get customers, I know I got to sell some houses, but they really don't think about what is the public seeing when they see Dan McGraw Realtor. What does that mean? You know, if you see an advertisement or you see a post on social media that says Dan McGraw Realtor, what thought, what emotion does that invoke? And so we've got to really begin to think about that. How are we communicating to our clients and customers? What are some of the benefits of branding your business? The brand on its own should attract and influence more customers to the business. So in my example with Missy, move to Florida, right? We might become more specific. Move to beautiful Crystal River, Florida. Now we're getting more specific with the branding. move to the boating community of beautiful Crystal River, Florida. You see how we're attracting a certain clientele by having our branding be specific and be targeted, right? So we need to make sure we're doing that. If you pulled up to a doctor's office and it had the golden arches, you might be a little confused because the doctor tells us not to go to the golden arches. So they have to have something that lets you know that they're a physician. What is the universal symbol for medicine, right? It's the staff, right? This is seduces. What's it called? Seduces? Yeah. So we kind of see that and inherently know that that's medicine, or that's, or we have the pharmacy logo. You see where they're making the prescription. So that is important in branding. We talk about that 2-year-old who knew what McDonald's was. I would like all the 2-year-olds to know who you are as far as being a realtor. Wouldn't that be cool? Mom, pull over here. We need to buy a house. But you have the ability to have that type of presence if you will put some energy and some thought into your branding. Provide consumer confidence. So something, that I want to talk about here that might hopefully is well received is, I think you can't take yourself too seriously. I think it's okay to have a good time. And I think people really, especially in today's world with social media, they appreciate somebody who's having a good time. I just want to caution, when we are branding, let's make sure that we are being thoughtful about what we're saying in our message. And I think you all know what I'm talking about. When you see certain things that are in advertisements that might be less than professional, you can be really fun, have a great time, and yet still be professional. Can we agree on that?
Can you give an example?
Yes. Yeah. So this what's that?
Carl Jr.
Yeah.
Familiar?
No.
Yeah, I'm not familiar. Would you use that one?
Sure. So
yeah.
Carl Jr. and Hardee's, they have these commercials that are absolutely ridiculous. And it's like this half-dressed woman that's biting into this burger and like barbecue sauce starts dripping down. And it's just absolutely like almost borderline offensive, but they built their entire model on it.
Right.
So every commercial they do, if you go on YouTube and Google like Carl Jr. commercials, they get more and more ridiculous every time. If you're trying to be a professional, you probably don't want to use like scantily clad women with barbecue sauce dripping down their chest. That's just not the most professional way to sell a burger, but they've kind of built their company on it.
Yeah, so I would encourage you with your branding to be fun and to be lighthearted, but to always remain professional. And I have to say that because unfortunately there are some who just simply don't adhere to that. They don't know where those boundaries are. And you just have to always ask yourself before you begin branding, what is my consumer going to think of me? And you want to be in the same category, folks, with well-respected professionals. So as long as you keep that in mind in your branding, I don't believe you'll get off track, okay? But you're not a part-time, halfway real estate professional. You are a full-time committed individual to help them with their transaction. So just make sure your branding reflects that. Any other thoughts?
Well, just
Greg?
Before we move on, one thing that I would suggest is for everybody, when you're trying to define who your client is, to build what's called a client persona. So basically what it means is if I could build my ideal client, what would they look like? How much money would they make? What type of interests would they have? Like if I could just, have a ball of clay and make my ideal client, what would it be? And then what you would do is when you do your marketing, you always think, does this fit my client? Would this be something that my perfect client would be interested in, would want to see, would want to be a part of? And then what that'll do is make sure that you stay in front of the people you specifically want to be in front of. Like Dan said, you don't want to be a jack of all trades. You want your little niche so that all the money in real estate is made by finding your niche and working it well. Doing something that doesn't have as much competition. So that's how, when I've done business planning with other people that are building any business, whether it's real estate or carpet cleaning or whatever, you want to think about what is my ideal client and how do I market to them specifically?
Yeah, I'd like to give you an example of this, just a real world. Who has a big tree in their yard somewhere? Okay, got some big trees. We've all seen a big oak tree that has to be cut down. In the old days, they'd go out and actually chop it down with an axe, right? That was when the real burly men would go out and do it. Now we cut it with a chainsaw and we do it in 15 minutes, okay? But think of this example. Imagine that we went out there and we chopped down that tree in a different spot every single time. It's going to take us quite a while to chop that tree down. And you would think that'd be silly, right? We're hitting it at the top, we're hitting it at the bottom. This is what so many real estate professionals do with their business. They say, I work, Dan, I work in Apollo Beach. I also work in Naples. I'm really great out in Tallahassee. You should see me over in Orlando. And you say, well, let me ask you, where do you specialize? Oh, I specialize everywhere. I have a state license. I'm not discouraging you that you can sell anywhere you want. I'm just saying that when you talk about your branding, you want to be appealing to a specific market over and over again. Think of that analogy. How many times are we going to hit the tree in the exact same place before we take that tree down? And it works the same way with your branding. There are a few companies that are brilliant at this, and I will go back to McDonald's. They have really owned the market on the branding side. And if you'll notice, they're more relentless than ever at getting that message out. Now, you might think because they're a billion-dollar company that they can sit back and coast. But if they're putting their brand out 2 or 3 times a day, how much more should you and I be doing that, right? So just keep that in your mind. All right, other benefits of branding. The brand provides a customer quality expectation for the cost of the service. Yeah, so back to professionalism. If you want to charge premium price for your services, you've got to portray a brand that gives off premium look, right? So they got to feel good about that. Create perceived value. Cheap, quality. Who competes with agents who have cheap services? We all do, right? Okay. And so it's important that when you're advertising your brand, that you get the message out that what you charge, you're worth, that there's a true value to that. The brand provides customers a level of value for cost expectation. The brand also provides customers a status or image of prestige. Florida Luxury Realty is an example of this. We have luxury in our name for 2 simple reasons. 1, we want to sell luxury properties. But more importantly than that, we provide luxury service. And that means if somebody is selling a $45,000 mobile, the service is going to be exactly the same as someone who's selling a $2 million waterfront home. Can we agree on that? Yeah. So that's why we are advertising ourselves in that way. Questions?
Well, what's important to note is that we're talking about value versus cost. Cost is how much money I have to spend to get something. Value is what I'm actually getting in return for the money that I spend. So as real estate agents, what we really want to hone in on is our value. Yes, it's going to cost you 6% to use me, or 7%, or whatever it is. But what you're going to get in return for the money that you're spending is going to be well worth it. Mm-hmm. You know, if you hire me at 6%, or, you know, Johnny Realtor down the street for 6%, what we are going to provide to them is going to be much more valuable than what somebody else can provide for the same cost.
Yeah, and you want to know another really great thing about having your brand speak for you? When you show up on that listing appointment, if you've done a good job with your branding, how much easier is that sale going to be? You walk in and they say, oh, I know you. I know what you do. I've been following you for a long time. Now when I sit with that client, I don't have to convince them of anything, right? My branding has done a terrific job at showing them what it is I do. I've shown them my value before I ever step foot in their home. And I can tell you from personal experience that this has happened to me, where they've already made the decision to list or sell their home with me because of the value that I have projected. One of the things that you can do to project your brand is to educate people. Do you know the #1 way to sell yourself is to help somebody else? And how do you help somebody else? You educate them. Well, how would I educate somebody? Well, let's think about it. What is it that buyers need to know? How do I get a mortgage? Right? How much does it cost to live in this neighborhood? Is there anything special I need to do for down payment? Simply providing them that information can be a big part of your branding. What if you were the education realtor that educated your community, right? What if you were the social realtor that educated your community on all the social things happening in your network? This is how you can brand yourself. And if you'd like, after this class, I'll take a few minutes and show you specific examples of multi-million dollar agents that do a terrific job of this and never pay for a single lead because they brand themselves to be the community authority on social and networking events. So I just wanted to keep your mind going in that direction. All right, consumer versus perceived status. So we have a Hyundai and we have a Mercedes. The brand provides customers a status or image of prestige. Now, to an outsider, you simply have two four-door sedans here. But to those of us that know, we certainly know that there's a certain status or prestige with driving a Mercedes versus driving a Hyundai. Not that there's anything wrong with driving a Hyundai, but they've created a brand that commands 4 times as much money for the same, really for the same product, just on a downscaled version, okay? And by the way, you're not always paying for what you get. In many cases, you're paying for the name that has a reputation of being quality, right? Whatever it is that makes you unique is the reason consumers will choose your brand. So who are you? We just talked about that. What is your core identity? Your brand strategy brings your competitive positioning to life and works to position you in a benefit in the mind of your prospects and your customers. So what is it that you do differently? And we just discussed this. Illustrates your skills and strengths, specialties, or niche, that part of your market that is different from everybody else. I'd like a couple more examples from all of you about specific niche markets, things that are unique types of real estate. And I'll jump in and help if you need some, but
Investment properties and producing.
So investment properties. What about senior living communities?
Golf course communities.
Golf course communities, right? Do you think the golf course community is a tight-knit group?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah? Yeah? Do you think?
It's the fellows that own the airplanes that. and they have to-
Aviation.
Yeah.
Aviation community. What about military?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. What about law enforcement? Fire department? Tight-knit communities, right? So any others? Greg, did you have any?
The veterinary industry is actually
The veterinary
one that I've been
industry.
able to work in pretty significantly.
Absolutely. If you happen, by the way, if any of you happen to have a group that you're already affiliated with and you're not maximizing the connection with that group, you got a great opportunity to do so because they already know, like, and trust you. So now all you need to do is let them know that you're in the real estate business and they will use your services. So you want to advertise yourself in such a way. You know, it might be something as simple if you deal in waterside property or waterfront property, maybe you put a little anchor on your card. Okay, now you might think that's insignificant, but to those people who are in that lifestyle, they're going to know exactly what that means. Okay, and you're going to have a commonality with that client. Define your specific focus of your ideal customer or real estate services you most desire and analyze the skills needed and outline the benefits that you'll provide. Like Greg said earlier, you've got to first decide who it is that you're marketing to and then create your brand. McDonald's knows that they want to feed America. That's what they do, right? That's what they do all day long. They don't do anything else. They just feed us. That's it. But they've developed an amazing way to communicate that message. Why are you credible? Why should I believe you? Why should I trust you? People demand facts to create trust in your business. This is why I encourage you to be an educational realtor. If you go out there and you share information with the public that is, first of all, valuable and most importantly, correct and accurate, they're going to appreciate that. You're going to be able to give them true value and they're going to trust you. You see the seal there, satisfaction guarantee. They want to know that what you're telling them is true and just. Successful branding creates brand equity and it also creates trust. It defines the amount of money that customers are willing to pay just because it's your brand. Louis Vuitton, anyone? Right? Coach? I mean, so what's the difference between the Coach bag and does anyone know the non-Coach version? I don't know. My wife only does the Coach, so I wouldn't know. But I do know this. I do know that those brands can command more money than those products are truly worth because they have brand recognition and trust. You know that those items are going to be quality. In addition to generating revenue, brand equity makes your company itself more valuable over the long term. I want you to think about that. You guys ever thought about what it might be like in 30 years from now to sell your real estate business? if you have a really great brand, now let me ask you this. If you have a great reputation and people know, like, and trust your brand, how easy is it for you to potentially hand off, sell, or move that group of clients to another realtor? What if you made a whole bunch of money and everybody hates you and you have a terrible brand? People say they'll do anything to get a deal closed. They don't have good brand integrity. How hard is it going to be for you to move that name? Very, very hard. So not all real estate agents are created equally. It's not about volume all the time. It's about reputation. And this is such a big piece of that. I like to believe myself that my brand, that when people see Daniel McGraw Realtor or McGraw Homes, that means something to them in terms of my commitment level, in terms of my follow-up. I like to believe that every one of my customers would say to you, Dan went the extra mile, he answered the extra call, he drove to the extra appointment. And I think that we need to convey that very, very much so in what we advertise. People decide based on your promise of value. For instance, what's in it for them? The cost versus the benefit. Establish your core image in the minds of your target markets, just as Starbucks, Mercedes, and others have established a core brand image in the mind of their consumers. The word core is important since it signifies that you will establish a consistent perception of your company's unique value. I think everybody in this room knows who both of those companies are, right? Starbucks is the company that sets up on every major corner now in every metropolitan area in the United States, and charges $9 for a cup of coffee. And do people gladly pay that?
Yes.
Is coffee worth $9 a cup? No. Their coffee is. There you go. Right? So they've established value, but they've also established quality. And we want to do the exact same thing in our business, where people literally want to jump up to tell their friends and family about our brand.
Before you move on, I want to give an example of this. So if you guys are watching TV, how many ads have you ever seen for Ferrari or Lamborghini?
Where?
Never. They don't do it. What happens is when you establish your business to the point that people know what you're worth, they sell Ferraris and Lamborghinis all day long. But what they figured out was the people that can afford to buy a Ferrari or a Lamborghini are not the ones sitting at home watching TV.
You mean they're not the ones watching Ally McBeal reruns?
Imagine that. So it's all about putting your marketing where people will see it. Now, if you ever flip through a DuPont registry or some of these very high-end magazines, well, guess what? There's your Lamborghini ad in between these $4 million homes.
That's a really great point he just made. When we brand ourselves, we need to be targeting that brand to the right people. And so it's not just about picking that group, it's also about getting that message to that group. So if we're advertising ourselves as a waterfront agent and we're doing it on the east side of the state where there isn't, or in the center part of the state rather, where it's all farm country, probably not going to get a lot of responses from that unless somebody wants to leave their farm and go to the beach. And that's okay. But again, you want to be advertising where your market is. And I would challenge you, if you haven't ever done this, go into the MLS and look at the roster. It'll tell you who's selling what each month. And I want you to look at some of the agents that are really, really selling a lot of real estate. You're going to find a trend. You're going to see that they're selling a lot of real estate in a specific area, right? You're very unlikely going to see, Kim Jones sells 3 in Orlando, 2 in Tallahassee, 4 in Naples. Very unlikely, because real estate is hyper-local, isn't it? Right? And your knowledge of that hyper-local area is important, and it's going to be a part of your branding. So I want to encourage you to think about that. What exactly makes you different and appealing and helps you stand apart? Got to have a unique value proposition. We talked about this when we started today. What do I do differently from everybody else? How many realtors are out there? I don't have the number right now. I can tell you the Tampa Bay area, I don't know, 100,000. I mean, there's a lot of us, a lot of realtors. So why would somebody choose you over the other 99,000, this example? Because you provide something unique and different to that individual. Might be something as simple as that you're a better listener than everybody else. And they felt like they were being sold when the other agent contacted them. They felt like the advertisement was was calculated or cold, and yours felt inviting. So these are things that you want to think about.
Well, when you look at this picture, you know, and you've got it here. Look at Pinky Benson. So she's down in Sarasota, Naples,
yeah.
whatever. Her entire marketing is the color pink. She wears pink every day. She's got pink hair. Literally, her entire market is centered on the color pink.
Who can relate to the color pink though?
Lots of rich women.
Okay.
Barbie.
Okay. But there's another thing out there that causes people to be attracted to pink too. Do you know what that is? What is it?
Cancer Association.
What'd you say?
The
Cancer Association. That's exactly right. There are a lot of cancer survivors who would see that and identify with that. And I certainly don't. I know Pinky well, but I certainly don't pretend to know where her concept for pink came from. Other than maybe it was just, again, it's kind of a, it's a neat color. But I will tell you, I've had people specifically say to me, I follow Pinky because she supports breast cancer awareness. She supports the recovery. And I say, well, and so they've made that connection. That is a great example, Greg. Thank you. Because she has put a branding out there. Now, how simple is the color pink, right? But it can be everything in her business. It's not uncommon. In fact, we recently had a referral with her where the agent simply sent a referral that way on a $450,000 house. Because why? She is the pink lady, and we know to send to her. So in the Naples area. So that's an excellent example. Thank you. Establish your unique value proposition within your business. Your UVP is a clear statement that describes the benefit of your offer. I am Dan McGraw. I am a realtor. I work waterfront property. I get back to my clients quickly. I do things at a reasonable price and over deliver every time. I want a consistent message. Ever had a pizza delivered to your house? We all have. Do you want to know the original logo for pizza delivery was $1 million ad campaign? Dan Kennedy was a part of it. He's a marketing guy. And you want to know what the slogan said? And this was $1 million ad, but it was worth every penny. Hot, fresh pizza delivered in 30 minutes or less. My goodness. That seems so simple, and they struggled to create that ad for months. But when that ad went out, that company saw millions of dollars in revenue because it delivered a message, because nobody knew in those days how long it would take or what a pizza delivery was like, but they branded that message. And so that's what I want to ask you to do, is to start thinking about what is it that I offer my customer that's different, and how do I get that message out there? Your unique value proposition is composed of both tangible and intangible factors that serve to set your business apart. Branding my real estate business, who needs to know what is my audience? Customers, influencers, and those who they are connected with. This goes far beyond just the people that you know, doesn't it? Do you only want to sell real estate to those that you know? No, but you want to know more people, right? So when you don't know somebody and someone that you do know introduces you to them because of your brand, that's going to create a bigger pool of customers for you. Remember, what is your true utopia as a real estate professional? It is a database just completely full of people who know, like, and trust you. That is more valuable to you than anything in your business will ever be, other than your reputation. That will also be, I think, equally valuable, but your database. So how does that branding help you to increase your database? Well, I know one person from Rotary who likes, and trusts me, and then he or she introduces me to another individual from Rotary who now likes, and trusts me. Why do they know, like, and trust me? Because I was there and I volunteered when we went out in the swamp and cleaned up the furniture. Because I was there when we built the little bedroom for the girl with cancer. That's why they know, like, and trust me, because that's what I do. And that's what my branding might actually signify to these people. You must use the common methods of lead generation and sharing your brand to those that need your business and services, and to those that would share it with others who would value obtaining your business and your services. So we've got to focus on that, getting our message out to people who need our help. Who needs your help, guys? Here's the great part. You're realtors. I hate to say it, but if they're not living under well, no, that's not true. They need your help too. Everybody needs your help. Has anyone ever opted out of living in a residence or a home? Very few, okay? So everybody needs your help. So you have a really wide market you can go to, but I do want to encourage you to focus on some specific individuals to help service. How they know your advertising and marketing. If customers don't know about your business, then you do not exist. Have you ever heard of a secret agent? Secret agent?
Oh, yeah.
What's a secret agent?
Undercover. No one knows you.
It's a realtor that refuses to shout from the rooftops that they're in real estate. They don't want anyone to find, I don't want to put magnets on my truck. Then my neighbors might know I'm in real estate and they might ask me to come list their house. That would be really bad.
HOAs say you can't put advertising on there.
I didn't see anything. Okay, so make yourself known. So, and that's a great example. I have a very dear friend who does a tremendous business in HOA. And so what she did was she found that there was more than one way to skin a cat. So she actually sponsors their golf tournaments is what she does. So she's on the 9th and the 14th and the 13th hole, blah, 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 and she's in their country club magazine and she's on their menus. And so everybody who lists in her community there knows that she is the realtor of choice because she found another way to get her brand out there. Her brand is golfing. That's her brand, okay? And people know it. How do they know her brand is golfing? Because on her business card, she's leaning over on a golf club like this with a bag on the other side of her. So she's not hiding the fact that these are my people in my network. And guess what? When they move down to Florida to golf, they call her. It's really, really neat how that works. And she doesn't have to look for any business, by the way. It all comes to her from referral. You must network your business and advertise your specific business and brand to consumers that need the service you offer or specialize in. If I'm a doctor, I advertise to who? Sick people, patients, right? If I'm a pilot, I advertise to people who want to fly across the country. So we've got to advertise to the right group. And knowing, how do you know those demographics? There's a lot of companies out there that can help you determine that. I think, though, in your own circles, the best tool that you can develop in your business, the number one tool, is to become a good investigator. You know what a good investigator does more than anything else? They listen. They hear what people are saying. They ask questions that bring forth information from the individual they're talking to. Good investigators do not talk about themselves, but rather ask about others. And when you find that information out, you're able to then truly connect and make your brand more and more specific for that group of people. I know an agent who does waterfront property here in Hernando County. And one of the things that they're real big on is they sponsor a fishing tournament that happens once a year. So they're out there and they call everyone in that community and they invite them out to that fishing tournament. And guess what? They're like the center of that. They coordinate the whole thing. They never have trouble selling any real estate because everybody knows them because he's the guy that coordinates the fishing tournament. So I just want to get you to thinking about those things where that can be part of a very big part of your branding. Visibly respect, distinction, market share, public support, etc. What gets you results? These are the things that are going to actually get you results in your business. If your brand is defined and you share it to the right audience, then you will achieve the results you seek in obtaining customers and providing business services. So the more defined that your brand is, the more opportunities that you'll have. Any questions so far as we're moving through? Who in here currently has a brand? If someone was to say, I'm going to go look up Realtor X, I know exactly who they are. I know exactly what they do. I know exactly where they're from. I know their story because they've told it 1,000 times. And I feel comfortable referring you to that brand. Who here feels they have a brand, right? Yeah, okay. And that's good. If you're not there, that's okay. That's why you're in this class. I want you to start to think about that. If someone were to say, X realtor sitting in this class or listening online is a great realtor, would the individual being told know who you were? And more importantly, would they know what you do?
Okay, so I'll give the example. Ours is the ocean team.
Mm-hmm.
Like we just set it up right as we began. As you may or may not know, my wife and I run an ocean conservation nonprofit. That's just what it is. So when we started in real estate, we decided that 10% of every commission we earn gets donated to a nature-related charity of the client's choice. So we try to keep it in Florida. So if you care about manatees or dolphins or sea turtles, whatever it is, we have partner organizations that we can donate to.
Mm-hmm.
So what we do as part of our marketing is we use real estate as a way to do well and do good. And that's kind of what sets us apart. We're not out there trying to buy a new Bentley or anything else. We are using real estate as a way to give back. And we've gotten a lot of referrals because that's just the core of who we are. We use real estate as a means to be able to give back.
That's a great example, Greg. There are, when you're doing philanthropy or you're doing charitable giving, there is always a payoff, and that's obviously not why you're doing it, but there is in the fact that what Greg has created with those people, you know what it is commonality. They share the same passion for the environment and for conserving what we have on this planet that he does. So he strikes a chord. Remember, we just talked about the pink? He strikes a chord with those people. You can do the same thing with your passion. It doesn't have to be charitable. It could be recreational, couldn't it? Right? But you want to find that chord and strike it over and over again. And that's what your brand will become. And I can't tell you, nor would I try to tell you what your brand should be, because that's got to come from inside of you. You've got to dig down and look and say, what am I to my customer? Who do I want to work with? What is it that I provide? And then go to work on the task of creating a brand that shows the world exactly who you are. Don't think small. What you need, your key investments. Branding requires action, money, time, and resources. Think about successful consumer brands like Disney and Home Depot. Imagine you're competing against either of these companies. If you want to capture a market share with any level of significance, you must start with a strong strategy or you won't get very far, right? So you've got to go in with the right plan. How do you create your branding strategy? First, define your specific business focus. You must be able to create a concise and clear statement regarding the segment of real estate business that you want to conquer. We got to be specific. I want to sell a lot of homes in Woodland Waters, Glen Lakes, and Rural Highlands. That's specific. Now, how do I go about letting those individuals know that I should be their realtor of choice? Well, I've got to get involved. What are some of the values and benefits you offer? Define your specific business focus. Analyze every aspect of what a first-time homebuyer wants and needs, and then build your brand focus of providing a perfect solution for the specific wants and needs, right? So remember, we back into this. We find out what is it that our clients potentially need, and then we provide a solution for that, right? And then we define specific business focus, knowledge and access to programs that help first-time home buyers. How to buy a home with a small amount of available funds. How cool would that be? We talked about doing a video on that. Lenders specialize in first-time home buyers program. Loan officers that understand how to service and explain the detail of a mortgage. We have an agent right here in our office that does a video series once a month. And what she does is she sits down with a professional in her business and she interviews them. So you don't have to have all the answers, guys. You just have to provide the information, right? So you sit down and you interview that title agent. You sit down and you interview that home inspector or that general contractor. And you ask them a list of the top 10 most common questions. Where could you find such a list?
On the internet.
On the internet. What are the most common mistakes that homeowners make when trying to do renovations for themselves? Sitting down with that general contractor and asking them. They'll tell you. They'll tell you, give them a 5-minute window and they'll tell you. You know? And so then what you're doing is providing value. What about insurance companies, tax advisors? What if you sat down with a tax advisor and asked 5 or 10 questions about being self-employed? All the realtors in your network would really appreciate that and be excited to work with you. What about brochures and marketing pieces that provide information to first-time home buyers? So that would be something that you could say, hey, if you like this video, then message me and I'll send you a pamphlet for first-time home buyers. That would be really cool. You could run a first-time home buyer seminar, couldn't you? So you start thinking about how I can promote and brand myself. There really are a lot of options out there if you're just willing to do a little bit of planning. Secondly, you determine your target market. It's well known that for the majority of businesses, 20% of customers have 80% of the revenue. However, when you have clearly defined niche, this percentage is likely to increase. Could you just turn your mic off, please? Thank you. All right. Where are the best locations and methods to find first-time home buyers and target customers? Is there enough opportunity to build around my first-time home buyers? So, in some areas there are. Here, Hernando County, yeah, a lot of first-time home buyers. You know where the first-time home buyers in Hernando County are coming from? Not Hernando County, coming from out of state, right? That's where we market to. So if I wanted to market to first-time home buyers in Hernando, I might run a target-specific ad that runs where? In the Northeast. There you go. In the cold states, right? Because why? What do we have to offer here in Florida? Only no state tax, sunshine year-round, beaches, Disney World, Orlando. What else do you want? We've got Miami, we've got, you name it. So this is a great place to live. Determine your market. Oh, I really like this one. Newlyweds. Think newlyweds might need your services, guys? I got a dear friend who just got married a couple months ago, and what do you think she's doing right now? She's building one. She's building a house, right? Newlyweds. So they're a great group to advertise to. Well, how would I find out about newlyweds? Well, you could contact some of your wedding planners and offer them some type of a coupon or a discount or a service in exchange for them connecting you with those individuals, right? You could also start a Facebook page, Newlyweds of Hernando County, right? You think they would all jump in and start commenting and talking? Absolutely. You then could follow up with them. So demographics between 25 and 30. Why does age matter when we're targeting our market? Why do you think age is important?
Income.
It could be income.
Well, if you're marketing 55 and up communities, you only want to target people that are 55 and up. You don't want to spend money to market to 30-year-olds if you're trying to sell 55 and up communities. Yeah,
and if we're targeting a super active community where there tend to be a lot of dog parks and young people and a lot of running and stuff like that, then you might be targeting your 25 to 30. But if you're targeting your 55 and ups, as Greg said, then your whole demographic is going to shift. Lenders specialize in first-time buyers. What about renters? Could you advertise to renters? Let me be your solution to your landlord. Who would love to hear that? Are you paying too much for rent? Let me talk about buying a home. They would tune in and listen to that. New hires from college, communities with entry-level home values. Let me talk about another one that I didn't list here, and that is physicians. Doctors relocate. Okay, so if you have anybody in the medical business or you have anyone that you're connected to, use that contact. Have them get you in the door with the HR department at the hospital, at the residence center, at the rehab center. Find out who handles relocation in and out for their physicians, their nurses, their pathologists, their anesthesiologists. Those people move a lot. They also travel and they also work agency. So there's different opportunities for you to place them. A lot of those people move to an area, and what do they do initially? They rent, because why?
They don't know how long they'll be there.
Yeah, that's right. Do they want to stay in Tampa? Is this going to be? And then eventually they figure out they love Tampa General Hospital. They're going to stay, and guess what? Now you have an opportunity, if you're doing the right things in your branding, to advertise that. Could you make an amazing business out of just relocating physicians in the Tampa Bay area? Oh, yeah. Could you sell a few houses in Davis Island? Yeah, right? Okay, so absolutely you can. So this is just one example. Yes.
Also downsizers, because in my age group, they're all selling their big houses and moving into 2-bedroom
Absolutely.
houses. So,
Absolutely. So you absolutely could market to individuals who have lost a loved one and are going to downsize, who have gone through divorce and they're going to downsize. Okay, those people need advocacy. Those people need representation. There's nothing more difficult than when you're going through either a divorce or when you're going through a loss in the family. So having a realtor that truly has compassion and has understanding and knowledge is going to be so valuable to them. If you can stand out from everybody else in your branding, you'll have a really good chance to land some customers.
Before we move on, Dan, so this was an example. If you were trying to work first-time home buyers, you'd want to target these people. But whatever you decide your niche to be, think outside the box. Mm-hmm. So if I'm working with first-time home buyers, I wouldn't have necessarily thought, hey, let me go after newlyweds.
Yep.
But in your example, okay, somebody who's downsizing, well, what other activities or what other people would I want to attach with? Using another one, kind of like you said, a loss in the family. Maybe you want to go talk to probate attorneys or estate planners, because those people are going to go, hey, I'm, planning a will and I'm doing this and I'm looking forward to the life changes that are coming up. Well, that's easy. So you want to find those kind of partner groups and kind of outliers that are going to help you really hone in on your niche. If we were talking about aviation communities, well, maybe you want to buddy up with a plane broker. Hey, these people are looking to buy a new plane. Well, maybe because they're getting ready to move or they're getting ready to, do something else.
That's right.
Those are the kinds of things. So this is just really telling you to think outside the box. It's not just, okay, first-time home buyers, but again, what else could you look at to really get in front of the people you want to get in for your niche?
Yeah, absolutely. And so we're never going to guide you as to what markets. We'll give you ideas, but again, it's really got to be it's got to be something that you're interested in and that you enjoy. So I do encourage you, if you're going to have a niche market to brand market to, have it with something that you have common interest. Don't do it just because you think, well, there sure are a lot of people in this group, therefore I'll market to them, but I can't stand what they do, because that will not be successful for you. There's so much of this is organic and is authentic, and they need to know that that it's coming from the heart. All right, who are your main competitors? From the market research you conducted during the preliminary stages, you should have a good grasp of who your main competitors are within your market and within your niche. Carefully review their market share, websites, online profiles, methods of doing business, and etc., to determine how you may distinguish your business from theirs. This is really important. If you're going to be marketing to an area that has a lot of competition, what are you going to need more of? Exposure. How do you get exposure? Costs money, right? Takes time. So I'm not discouraging you from going into a market where there is competition, because there's a reason that they're there, folks. They're there because houses are selling and there's clients that are desirable. But I am encouraging you to go in very strong and prepared, and understand that you've got to have a better value proposition. So there are going to be things that you're going to need to do across your platforms of your branding, like your website, your Facebook, your social media. If you're not somebody who's good with this kind of stuff, that's okay. There are people out there who will do it for you for a small fee. So don't feel like I've got to first become a master advertiser marketer before I can be a good realtor, because there are people who will co-op with you in your business to help you do that. I do want you to have a great understanding of promoting your brand, but I don't need you to be an expert at social media algorithms in order to be a great realtor. And sometimes the simple things we do make the biggest impact. So sometimes it's just a matter of hitting that live button on your Facebook and just talking to the world and telling them what you do, asking them questions, sharing your day. I have a friend who goes to new cafes in the Dade City area, and he actually showcases them. So he will pop into a new barbecue place and he'll say, here I am at Dan's Barbecue Barn. And he says, I'm just going to let you know what it's like. He'll eat some food, come back on, and he just showcases it. His brand is community. The Dade City community is his brand. I'll be happy to share with you afterwards a couple of his videos to give you an idea of the view count he's getting. But sometimes he gets a couple, 300-400 views on those videos, because he's not talking about real estate, but he's talking about his brand at the same time. And I know that sounds counterintuitive, but that is exactly what you need to do. Are there other real estate agents in your market or territory that are brand focused to first-time home buyers? So is there somebody out who's competing with you? In this example, we're talking about promoting to first-time home buyers. So who else is out there doing well? If you see someone doing it well, is it okay for you to use some of their techniques in your own business?
Sure.
Well, I saw that wheel was round. I don't want to take their idea. I'm going to do a square. No, it's okay if it's working, because remember, your brand is you. So if it's working, there's nothing wrong with doing it. And I encourage you to, as long as it's professional and ethical. Who would I be competing with specifically? Who are the realtors that are doing more business in the market that I want to be in that I'd be competing with? How strong or weak is their brand? Is their niche crowded, or is there room for more competition? Which affiliated businesses are they aligned with? Who knows about affiliated businesses? Okay, who knows about co-op marketing and branding together? Really critical that you utilize the leverage in this business of marketing with other industries. But I also want to throw in a caveat to this. It's also equally, if not more important, that that business that you're co-oping with have a great reputation. Why?
Because their reputation becomes your reputation.
That is
as soon as
exactly
you
right.
send somebody to them.
So what are some of the qualifiers that I use when partnering with another business? Number one, I want them to have been in business for a while. Why? I want to know their track record. Do they have a track record of honesty, of integrity, of competence, right? Of kindness. These are things that I absolutely insist on. You could be the best mortgage professional, close every loan, but if you're just a world-class jerk, there's no chance I'm co-oping with you, because I market myself as the friendly realtor. That's how I market myself. I want people to say, Dan was so darn nice to us. And so if I'm with a cold-blooded mortgage person, then I'm not going to get very far. Okay. Another thing that you need to know about your vendors is the quality of work that they do. All right. So especially when you're dealing with contractors, home inspectors, anyone that physically does anything or alters something, you need to make sure that they're timely. And of course, as you use them in your business, could they not become somebody that you approach and ask if they want to partner with you for marketing purposes? Can that cut your costs down when you're trying to brand yourself and you're sharing with another person? Absolutely. And we'll talk a little more about this. So let's create your unique value proposition to your market. This refers to the unique benefit that you and your real estate business provide to your clients that's better and is not available from everybody else. One of the things that one of our Trinity agents does is every time that she goes out and does a CMA and gets a listing as a result of it, she at her very own expense will buy that seller a home warranty to give to the buyer. So that seller knows that come closing, they're going to have some distance from that buyer because the realtor has offered to pay for that home warranty. I know another agent at our Wesley Chapel office that will do an appraisal for the customer as a courtesy, so they have a really good idea on value and there's no speculation involved. So these are some different services that you might offer to provide to your client that cause you to stand out. Why should I list with you? I offer professional photography at expense to me, the realtor. I offer a home warranty. So there's value proposition there. It doesn't have to be those specific things, but I want you to start to think, if I was selling my home, what would cause me to want to list with you? Put yourself in their shoes. Ask your friends and family. If you were selling your home, what would be important to you? Offer that in your business. What specifically makes your business a better choice for first-time home buyers in your local market? You have a stronger knowledge of the area and of your business. You're giving them some type of savings, like we talked about with the home warranty. You're doing turnkey experience, so it's very easy for them. You're doing DigiSigner. You're hand delivering documents. You're making it a stress-free transaction for them. How will marketing for your new clients work? What will be your primary marketing strategy to obtain new clients? You may choose from several strategies: web-based marketing, social media, profiles, pages, and ads, creation of blogs, ads in a community-based newsletter. We talked about the golf course communities, brochures, business cards, networking. Several of these strategies, such as online networking and the creation of a blog, are cost-effective methods to getting the word out about your brand. How much does it cost to run a Facebook video?
Yeah.
You know that during the Super Bowl that they pay millions of dollars for a quick 30-second ad, and we have a button on our phone with a high-definition camera that will give a commercial to the entire world if we so desire. For pennies, we can put that information out, and yet we just can't get over ourselves enough to hit the record button. Just think about the opportunity that's sitting in your pocket or in your purse. Just want to challenge you on that. How will you market for new clients? Where are the best locations and methods to find, in this example, first-time home buyers? We talk about photographers and wedding planners, social media for 25 to 30-year-olds, lenders specializing in first-time buyers, apartment buildings, career websites, and lists of homes and communities with entry-level values. What I want you to do is start thinking about, to find my target, where are some outside-the-box places I can go? In this example, this is where we're finding first-time home buyers. If anyone would like to ask Christine, she can share this slide to you as well, so you have this information for your records. Yeah, they're all there with their laptops open and on their phones. Yep. Once you start to build a client following, the combination of your talent and client-centered approach will promote loyalty and customer referrals. They'll start raving about your service. Here's what's awesome about social media. When you do something right, which should be all the time, right? They're going to talk about it, and they're going to talk about it in a big way. And when you sell a home, when you celebrate that experience with them, please, you should be posting that on your social media sites. I encourage you to get a sign that says another home sold by X realtor, and to stand and have a photo taken with them. And then of course, ask their permission to post it on social media. You won't have to. In many cases, they'll post it and tag you in the post. But I want you to take the initiative to do that. What does that create for you in the social media world when you do that? Confidence, awareness. So I don't really want to fly with a pilot who's going up the first time. Anybody else? And I really don't want to work with a realtor who's going out for the first time. So when we start to promote ourselves as being busy agents, it gives confidence to our client base. How do I design my brand? Hi, Betty. Are you coming to lunch today? I'll tell you in a minute. Ask Jared. Create a business name for your brand. As your big goal for real estate, who's going to consist of you as an individual agent, or will it be multiple people as a team or partnership? If you're going to have a team, if you plan on having a team, folks, you need to advertise yourself as a team now. Okay? Start advertising yourself as a team. How many people need to be in your team to have a team? Just you. There's a team. It's all me. Okay? But we want future expansion, future growth opportunity. Okay?
Well, the big thing with this is, so when you're marketing yourself as a team, you've got brokers, you've got lenders, you've got title companies, you've got inspectors. Your team doesn't have to be 5 real estate agents. Your team is whoever you utilize to help you grow your business.
Extremely true.
So every single one of us are a team, whether we realize it or not.
Because you can't do it all the way from open to close on your own. You just can't. You have to have every one of those moving parts. So even though you might not have a transaction coordinator and a buyer's agent, you still have a lender and a home inspector. Without them, you still can't do the deal, can you? Right? Got to have them. Create a business name for your brand. What is the perceived image that you want your customers to have about your business? There are new rules and laws that are regarding real estate professionals. Everybody, please write these laws down. We're going to talk about a couple of them. You cannot use any words or terms that would confuse the public. So we're going to talk a little bit about these words, because some of you guys may or may not have this in your advertising, and you need to take it out immediately if you do. The FREC has ruled that they want the public to know in every instance who they're dealing with at the brokerage. They want to know the broker, and they want to know the realtor, and more than that, they want to know if there's a team who's on it. Now, they haven't implemented the team rule yet, which we'll talk about in just a minute, but what they have done is given some forbidden words. Forbidden words that you can't use in your advertising, that you could as of December 31st, but January 1st, you can't use them anymore. And so I want to talk about some of these terms, and I don't know if we have them here in the slide, but I'm going to go over some of the common ones really quick that you can't have. And Greg, you jump in if I miss any, please. You can't use the word real estate in your advertising.
Can't?
You cannot. Because real estate would indicate that you were the broker. So Dan McGraw Real Estate indicates that I am the broker and this is Dan McGraw Real Estate, right? Now, Dan McGraw sells Hernando is perfectly fine, but real estate I cannot use. I also cannot use associates in my advertising. Dan McGraw and associates. That would indicate again that I was potentially the owner or the broker of that institution. So when you're doing your advertising, you've got to think about these keywords and make sure that you're not using them. What you can do is you can talk about the area, neighborhood, or people that you represent. That's okay. Yes?
What about Dan McGraw's real estate group?
Cannot say the word
Cannot
real
say
estate.
that.
No.
Nope. It can say group, but not real estate. So it can say McGraw Group. It cannot say realty.
Mm-hmm.
It also can't use the word division. So you can't be like the Ocean Team, a division of Florida Luxury Realty.
Right.
Because then it's presuming that you are a separate entity from that real estate brokerage,
Right.
and it's misleading the public.
And here's what's coming in 2020, font size. They're very close to passing this through the FREC if they haven't already. Now, we at Florida Luxury have always encouraged you to make your name and your font large because we want you out there. We'll promote ourselves. The brokerage is going to take care of promoting the brokerage. As long as it's listed on your signage somewhere, we're okay with that. But the FREC now wants the consumer to know that the brokerage stands independent of the agent. So what they're going to insist upon here very soon is that the font on the brokerage be at least as large or larger than the team or agent's advertising is on their signs, cards, banners, posters, magnets, etc. So just kind of keep that in mind as you're doing your next batch of advertisement. You might consider that. Yes.
Does that include hashtags too for words?
Yes. Because again, it's advertising. And so here's the other issue. So let's take Betty, for example. Let's say that Betty calls herself Betty Real Estate. And then I share Betty's post. Have I not, as the broker, committed a FREC violation by, okay. So again, got to start to think about some of these words. I do encourage you to visit the link that we have here in the slide, floridarealtors.org. There is this extensive list of some other words we didn't go over, but you need to be responsible because it's your license that they will attach up to a $10,000 fine for violation. Betty.
So my name cannot be bigger on the card. So if I give my business card to somebody, it
No.
has to say, this is me.
Your name can be your team logo.
That's correct.
So if you were Betty
So like,
Realtor,
this is good.
yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
But let's say that I'm the Ocean team. So
Yeah.
I've got the Ocean team that's a big banner across my card, and then Florida Luxury Realty is this tiny little thing in the corner. That can't be.
Oh, I see.
So my team name or my group name or whatever can't be bigger than the brokerage name.
But your name.
Your physical name can be as big as you
Oh, okay.
want. Absolutely.
All right.
And then the last one I'll jump into, which hasn't passed yet before we move on, because we have a little bit more to do, is when the team is listed, they're looking at requiring all licensees within that team to be listed. Currently, the broker has to report to DBPR who's on the team. So we have to now keep a record. So if the team is just you, then Christy will need to know that that's just you. If the team is you and Jared and Cindy and Katrina, then they need to know that. But the reason they want to do this is who's ever seen the Jones Group? The Jones Group. Who's the Jones Group? Who am I dealing with? The public would never know. They want the public to know who inside that team they're dealing with. So when that law passes and they effectively make you list on that sign who they're dealing with, you'll in all likelihood see the licensee that's actually representing that property listed under that team name. Okay? Yes.
Sorry, I just need to confirm something. So you can't just say like a hashtag Tampa Real Estate, Florida Real Estate, anything like that.
I would not in your advertising.
So
And again,
how would you phrase that
Well,
hashtag?
well, no, here's what I would do. I would contact Legal Center, which is what your dues are for, and I would ask them, I'm thinking about doing this ad. Is this going to be compliant? And they'll tell you. And so that's my test now. I don't, I actually call Legal Center a lot, and I ask them, look, I'm thinking about doing this ad for my business. Is this going to pass, or would you consider this to be a violation? And let them tell you. That's what they're there for. They're the attorneys. They're the ones that are going to.
You can use the word realtor.
Correct. As long as you don't give it a descriptive word.
Right.
You don't want to use the best realtor.
Oh.
Yeah. Now, I don't think great realtor is a problem,
No.
but when you're saying positioning yourself as being, because realtor's branded, so when you say Hernando's best realtor, you could say one of Hernando's great realtors and probably be okay. Jared?
I was just wondering if you think on that website, the legal team one, are they gonna give any type of like an example of what they're looking for?
Yeah,
A
they do.
compliant, Yeah.
Yes, they have scenarios, a whole page of scenarios of what they're looking for. And here's how this happens, folks. Somebody gets mad at you
Yeah.
and they say that your font is too large or small. This is how this happens. But so just make sure you're compliant. We won't go through all of them today, but I just want you to be aware there is a place for you to find them. All right, create a logo for your brand. All right, your logo is a visual representation of everything your company stands for. Your logo should enhance potential customers' first impression of you. Consider Allstate's Good Hands logo. It immediately generates a warm feeling, the company symbolizing care and trust. With a little thought and creativity, your logo can quickly and graphically express many positive attributes of your business. And they don't have to all be the same as other people's logos, you know, but you want to put thought into it. Yes.
The logo size is gonna have to be smaller than whatever your brokerage logo is, or no?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what they're going to want.
Yeah. So Dan, if you don't mind, go back 2 slides real quick. So when you look at these 2 logos, for example, what difference do you see between the one on the left and the one on the right? Does anything specifically jump out at you?
I like
Houses.
the houses. This one's more of a realist
Yeah.
for houses,
Okay.
right?
But now the one on the left, wouldn't you say that that's kind of more of an elegant or
Yeah.
more of an
Mhm.
upscale clientele?
Oh, for sure. The
Yeah.
So if you were
cursive.
marketing first-time home buyers, which one of those logos would you want to use?
The right side.
The one on the right, exactly. If you're going for $1 million waterfront homes, you'd probably want something more like the one on the left, right?
Mhm.
So when you're thinking about creating a business name or a brand or a logo, you really want to have figured out who your demographic is going to be so that you can create the right branding, the right style, the right, you know, whatever it is. Let's say you're selling in New York, you might want a high rise on your card, you know, because in New York, let's face it, there's not a lot of single family homes. So you kind of want to be specific, and that's something I just wanted to point out as we're
Yeah.
talking about creating logos.
We have an agent who likes to deal in farm property, and she has a boot as her logo.
Yeah.
So it tells the prospective person that's looking at it, when you see the boot, that this is a rural realtor that deals typically in land and farms and agriculture, right? If you saw the boot, you're probably not thinking, wow, that's a Manhattan realtor. Not going to happen. So that's a really, really terrific example, Greg. Before you begin sketching or learning how to design your logo, and there is a link there, and I will share this over to you guys through Google Drive, but first articulate the message you want to convey. Try writing 1 sentence or image in a mission statement to focus your efforts. One of the best things I ever did in my business was to take 30 minutes and sit down and just write out, what is Dan McGraw Real Estate? What does it mean? What am I as a realtor? What do I provide? And really, and you know, you'll write it, you'll rewrite it, but it really does define your brand. So before you do your logo and your advertising, you first have to decide what is it that you do. You know, all those things that are important, okay? And stay true to this statement while you're creating your logo. Does my logo support my mission statement? So if my mission statement is integrity, trust, quality, right? My logo should support. I shouldn't have a cheesy Lego logo, should I? I should have a quality logo if I want to impart quality, okay?
Well, use the Amazon logo, for example. It's Amazon, and it's got an arrow from A to Z, and it's a smiley face.
Right.
So what they're saying is we have everything from A to Z, and it imposes a positive message.
Yeah.
That's just something, literally, it's just the word Amazon with a little smiley face under it with 2 little arrows.
Yep.
But all that marketing and all that thought went into something that is relatively simple, but it absolutely conveys exactly who they are and what they do.
Do you have to do all this on your own?
No.
I don't have any. If you drained every drop of blood out of me, I don't have a drop of creative blood. I just don't. I'll sit in front of that computer and watch that cursor strike like this, and I can't come up with anything. When it comes to logos and brand building, but I know that about myself, and one of the things that's going to make you an awesome business owner is knowing your limitations and not spending too much time on the things that you're not supposed to know how to do well. You're a real estate professional. Do you need to be a graphic designer all the same? No. Do you need to be an advertising guru? No. But do you need to be able to bring those people into your team to help you if you're not good at that? Absolutely. And sometimes being humble enough to say, I just don't know how to do this, and being willing to pay somebody to help you do that will save you so much time and aggravation that it will be well worth it. So I just want to encourage you. And there are a couple of places out there that will do this for you. And we can share a couple of those websites with
Where
you.
I think this logo goes is a company called Fiverr.
Mhm.
And basically you can have a logo built for like $5 to $10.
Yeah, Fiverr's great. I've used them 7 or 8 times in the past. What it is it's freelance developers and artists that basically subscribe to the company and say, find me work. And so then you'll go in there and search what you're looking for. I'm looking for a short video clip for my branding. And you'll get 3 or 4 people that will respond to you and say, I can do that project. It would be $50 for the initial setup and $25 for editing. If there's heavy editing, another $50. And then you can actually give them a payment, give them the project, and they'll create that entire thing for you. Well, and then what do you do while they're doing that, guys? You go work, go sell some houses. I don't want you sitting in front of your computer. Well, Dan told me I got to come up with a logo, so this is going to take a couple weeks. No, I want you to, if you're not capable, that's okay. I'm telling you as a broker, I'm not capable. Okay, some people have a good design mind. If you do, great. But if you don't, sub it out. That's the most important thing. There are 2 kinds of logos to best consider for your real estate business. The font-based logo consists primarily of a type treatment. The logos of IBM, Microsoft, and Sony, for instance, use type treatments with a twist that makes them distinctive. Then there are logos, if you look at the bottom, that literally illustrate what your service is and may include a home in the logo. So, you kind of look at that. Which one of those really screams real estate, homes? Yeah, the second one, right? I can feel that. I can almost walk into that multicolored home there. Your logo design. So here's all the possible options that you have. Some are going to give them a premium message of looking very premium. Some are going to feel a little bit more warm and fuzzy, a little more homegrown. That's okay. These are just examples of how your logo might look. By the way, there are places out there that will create your logo for you. You just don't need to do it if you don't want to, but you can, or you can give them a lot of input. This is what I'm trying to convey. They'll proof it to you. You can get it back to them for a final. What should you consider in designing your logo? Look at the logos of other businesses. Like we said, don't reinvent the wheel if you don't have to. Focus on your message. Make it clean and functional. Less is more. People don't want to read a lot, right? If it's too busy, they put it down. Your business niche will determine your logo design. Your logo to identify your business's key benefits and avoid clip art and trendy looks, things that might become dated over time. I also encourage you to avoid being wordy on your cards and on your advertising. People don't want to read it. They want a simple, basic block letter message that they can quickly read and that they can quickly process through their mind. They see the message, it's clear and concise. That is what you want. So don't put too much on your advertising that makes it busy or hard on the eyes. How do you actually design your logo? You should consult with a company like we talk about, Fiverr. Fiverr makes freelance job opportunities for $5. There are several graphic designers offering logo designs for $5 or slightly more. So are you going to give up selling a couple houses to struggle to create a logo when there's a $5 option out there, folks? No, thank you. Okay, it could be 100 times more that, and I'm still better off going and selling a house. What is your slogan? Create a slogan. I like, who here has heard Mercy Bassey's slogan? She's a former Wesley Chapel agent. Mercy Bassey's slogan is, your home sold in 1 week or less, or I'll buy it. Well, that's pretty bold. And she means it for 25 cents on the dollar. But I'm just giving you an example of this, but her advertising says, I'll sell your house, and if I can't, I'll buy it. Simple as that. I'm not encouraging you to go advertise that way. I'm just saying that is a simple message that gets a lot of results because people appreciate that. What other simple messages can we think of that are out there that are short words, but that are in public advertising? Anything specific?
I'm loving it.
I'm loving it.
Just do it.
Just do it. That's amazing. Nike, right? So just do it, right? Any others? What other ones are out there? What about Checkers? You got to eat, right? So
You can't fake
Eat
steak.
fresh.
you can't fake steak. Eat fresh. Yeah, right? Yeah, exactly. What's the other one? We have the beef or whatever. We have the meat.
Where's the beef?
Arby's. Where's the beef? Yeah, where's the beef? That's right. Okay. But anyway, it's important to make it concise. Here's a couple of visual examples. Think different. Walmart, save money, live better. Just do it. And of course, Subway's eat fresh. Create a slogan for your brand. Prince William Realty Giving your dreams an address. It's what we do. Buy smart, sell smart. Here, relationships matter. I told you I like to brand myself the friendly realtor. So were I a selling agent still, I would be Daniel McGraw, realtor, the friendly realtor, because I want people to think, gosh, he's approachable. I can deal with him. He's not going to be pushy. That's what I would want to convey. Maybe you want to convey the savvy realtor. Or what's your slogan, say, Betty?
Honesty, integrity, loyalty.
Okay, honesty, integrity, loyalty. I have an individual, I have a team that works here. They say working hard for you, our boss, the customer. So it puts them in a position of service to their customer, okay? So these are all important things. Before finalizing the logo and slogan, make sure the logo and slogan are as effective as possible. Share your draft with customers, colleagues, friends, and family. This is important. I want you to test it with a group of people that you know, like, and trust before you put it out into the world and get feedback from them. No, get feedback from people that you trust in your circle. If it's not working, improve on it. Ask people to be as critical as possible. You can take it. Better for them to be critical than a potential customer, okay? Your logo and slogan should be prominent. You want to promote and sell your brand to the public. Create a mission statement. A mission statement is a written declaration of your business's core purpose and focus that normally remains unchanged over time. Serve as filters to separate what's important from what's not. Clearly state which markets will be served and how, and communicate a sense of intended direction to the entire organization. So this is just some guide to help you create your mission statement. What is it that you do, and what is it that you're all about? Values the business.
So a bad mission statement.
Yeah.
Values the business.
My mission of my company is to be the most successful real estate team. My company is committed to providing the finest full-service real estate brokerage by employing the most professional, well-trained, and ethical real estate practitioners. For a mission statement.
On its face, that doesn't seem that bad, right? You know, okay, we're working to hire the most professional, well-trained, and ethical real estate practitioners. That's good. But then what's next?
All right, let's compare that to this. We provide the most professional, informative, and loyal, dedicated service in the industry. The best interest of our clients will always come first, and we will place the client's concerns ahead of our own in each and every transaction. As we are dedicated to the development of long-term client relationships, our team approach philosophy ensures that your needs are important to each of us and every member of the group of dedicated real estate professionals. So this really was consumer focused, wasn't it? The other one was the real estate company focused. I'm going to focus on myself and my team to grow my business, and oh, by the way, we'll help you in the process. The second one said we're going to focus everything on our clients, and as a result of educating, supporting, guiding, and coaching our clients, we will make more money. Do you see the difference in that? So I really want you to focus on your customers. What's your vision? Who knows what the vision is? The vision. What's the vision for the future? The end goal. I don't just want to buy groceries Friday. I want to have something going on in 5, 10, 15 years from now. The vision. So the vision is different from the mission. The mission is the cause. The vision is the effect. Because we value our customers so much and take such good care of them, we are going to have the best real estate company. But it starts with the mission and then the vision. Okay. The vision is what you accomplish by doing the mission. The vision is also the result that you will keep yourself and other people in your business focused on. So Christine is a big advocate of us here at this location because she knows what your sales are. Do you know that? You know, Christine keeps track of all of your sales. It's a big job. And you know what happens when someone's struggling in their 90 days, they're doing less than they did in 90 days before? You know what she does? Taps her on the shoulder and says, I think Jane might need a little help. She hasn't done as much as she did before. She might need some encouragement. That's valuable, right? So when we're talking about the vision, why is she doing that? Because I have a goal for every single one of you to be a top producer. I want every single one of you selling more real estate than you did the year before. And if you're not doing that, then my goal is not yet reached. So I have somebody who shares that vision, So she knows what the goal is, both financially and transactionally, but as well educationally. She knows where we're trying to get. And I'm using her as an example because she's somebody that you're all familiar with. But you have someone like this in your life too, in your business. You have your family, your friends, people that encourage you. You need to be sharing your vision with all those people. Don't be afraid to share it. You know, what is your goal? Where do you want to be in 10 years? If you want to live in a high-rise and channel site in 10 years, you need to tell those people in your group, because they're going to say, Betty, how's that high-rise treating you? Are you any closer today to that high-rise than you were last time we spoke? That is accountability, and it shares your vision with your team. And of course, if you have people that work with you, then you should be sharing that vision with them as well. Because of my business strategy and customer focus, my business will achieve amazing success. All right, guys. What are your questions?
I have a question. Sorry.
Yes.
Back to the hashtags. Because this is Florida Luxury Realty, can I hashtag Florida Luxury Realty? Because
Sure.
it's got realty in it.
Yes.
Because it is the
Because it's the brokerage.
Yes.
Do I need to hashtag that and say brokerage behind it or
No.
just? Okay.
No, because it stands alone as the recorded brokerage with the Department of Business
Okay.
and
Just wanna
Professional
make sure.
Regulation. Yep. No, absolutely. Bigger question. What you never want to do, guys, is put Florida Luxury Realty in your name on Facebook. So I see this a lot. Dan McGraw, Florida Luxury Realty, and they think, well, the problem is they're not Florida Luxury Realty. They're Dan McGraw. And Florida Luxury Realty is Florida Luxury Realty. So they're not one and the same. So your name on Facebook should be Jim Jones Realtor. And then where you work in the section below that it asks you should be Florida Luxury Realty, not Dan McGraw, Florida Luxury Realty. That creates all kinds of problems because then you are identified as the brokerage. And believe me, you don't want to be identified as the brokerage. That's why we have a broker. So that's a great question. Jared?
I was just gonna say that when you had those two different advertisements or what have you, it was that is because of the word my. You saw the first one was my, and like you can look up words that trigger people to think of selfishness,
Mhm.
and then when it transitioned to the other one, it was we and our, like more communicative words. So
Right.
if you know, just to say we have I or the word I, unless it's like you're providing something for the other person, like I'm gonna do this for you.
Yeah.
Other than that, I is like
Yeah. What about something like this, providing you a stress-free transaction? How valuable is that? How much of the time do you take a lot of the stress on for your customer? All the time. Why not tell them that up front? Why not advertise that? When someone tells you they had a smooth closing, you should be sharing that. That's important to know. So, all right, guys, thank you so much. I know we went long today, but I am here to answer questions afterwards. We're good to go there.
You said something about $1 million agents afterwards.
Yes, absolutely.